Hey again, guys, it's me, Sam. You'd never have guessed, would you? Yeah, anybody think it was my twin sister, or an imposter, or Lady Gothica in disguise? No, it's me. It is me, Sam. Right, reason for this video is because I was asked on Facebook by my lovely little friend Amber, who's known as NIXICHIXI on here. She wanted me to talk about my ghost experiences. So that's basically what I'm going to do, and I'm sort of going to mould my introduction to my book, which I've actually been able to find. So I'm going to mould the two together, and well, I hope you enjoy it anyway. I grew up in a tiny little village called Catsell, which is on the outskirts of Bromsgrove in Worcestershire. And even though the house that I was brought up in was quite old, it wasn't haunted. So where did my interest in ghosts come from? Well, I guess I do have my mother to blame for that one. As when I was around the age of 10 years old, she told me about how my nan's house was haunted by the ghost of a man, and he'd been seen by other family members walking through the backyard and through the fence, where he would always vanish. Myself had seen an apparition while living at my nan's house as a child, but this apparition was very different to the one that the others had seen. One day when she was walking down the staircase, my mum saw a floating head with no eyes staring at her as she was descending the stairs. And obviously she freaked out. So she, in sheer terror, she ran straight down the stairs and straight out the front door. When my nan and granddad asked her, what the hell was going on, what you playing at, she told them, and no one, and I mean no one, knew what it was that she'd seen, and it was never seen again. So me and my mum had been at the all wacky backy, I don't know, but she saw something, all right. I never really spoke to my mum about ghosts after that until I was a lot older, and after doing some digging and some serious research, I found out that the old area where my nan lives is said to be very haunted. And where my nan's house is built is where her farm used to stand in the 17th century. It's said that in the time of the Civil War, the then owner of the farm went away to fight like most of the men did. And while he was away, well, basically his wife couldn't keep her legs closed, could she began an affair with another man. When her husband returned back from fighting, he found his wife in bed with her lover, and in his anger he killed them both by shooting them in the head. He then committed suicide by hanging himself in one of the barns. I believe the ghost of the man that my family have seen in the back garden of my nan's house is the ghost of the farmer, and I also believe that the ghost of the head belongs to the murdered lover. But why only his head, and why there are no eyes, I am yet to discover. Obviously, as you may have gathered, as I got older, my interest in ghosts and the supernatural grew. Well, that was until I actually had children of my own, and then, of course, like everything else in my life, anything I enjoyed doing, it basically went on hold. And it wasn't until some years ago now that my interest was reawakened, around the same time as I got into paganism. And it's also thanks to a friend of mine who was also interested in ghosts that I got back into ghosts. She used to enjoy telling me about how she would go to Hanbury Churchyard, which isn't far from where I live. And she'd go there late at night, and she reckons she'd seen two demons guarding the gates of the churchyard. Now, I'm sorry, two demons, a little bit too far-fetched for me. Sorry, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't know why. I just don't. But I've been up to the churchyard myself at night, and I've had a wander around the graveyard. I've hung around by the gates, and I've seen nothing but darkness, basically. But it didn't stop me from doing a bit of research on the area, and that's basically how I came to learn about the ghost of Hanbury Hall. It's a little ghost story that I wrote about, quite sad really. And this gave me the opportunity to learn how to research properly. And I guess after that, I was hooked. And I've scoured and read every single website on the internet concerning ghosts in England. I've bled my poor town's library dry of the books. But I suppose, what about my own experiences? I guess I should talk about those next. Many centuries ago, I was a very young girl, 16 years old. I was. Yeah, this is back in 1991. This is before I even had my children. And I used to live in a hostel on the Agley Road in Edgbaston, Birmingham. And one night, I'm sat on the stairs talking to some of the girls that lived in there as well, and I felt someone brush past me. I just thought, oh, tripping, because there was no one there. And I took no notice of it. A few weeks later, there was a whole load of us in a friend's room. And yes, okay, fair enough. We had a bit of a drink and a bit of a smoke. And but we weren't that completely battered, you know. Because I'd understand it was only one of us that seen it, but we didn't. It was all of us. We all saw it. We all watched a light bulb unscrew itself from the light fitting up above us, and it gently floated down to the floor without breaking. Now you've got to remember, it's a group of 16, 17, 18-year-old girls. We are screaming our heads off. We are freaked out to the max. But what happened next really sent the bejeepers up us, basically. We heard footsteps outside my friend's room. I'm trying to remember my friend's name, Helena, that's what it was. Yeah, okay, fair enough. It sounds quite normal, footsteps outside the kitchen window. Except we were 3 floors up and there was nowhere, and I mean nowhere, that anyone could have been walking on outside the kitchen window. Eventually we all plucked up the courage and we went downstairs and we talked about it to staff members, and this is where we soon discovered that it was said that the hostel was said to be haunted by the ghost of a girl who had jumped out of that same window when it was a children's home many years back. My second experience happened in March 2005. I was being given a lift home with one of my friends at about 1 o'clock in the morning. We'd been to a pagan moot up in Birmingham, and I was rather sozzled, I will admit it. I'd got a right beer full of belly. Well, anyway, we weren't far from where I live, and we were both near some traffic lights, and we saw a man standing at the edge of the road. The lights went red, so we assumed that he wanted to cross it, only he didn't. He just basically vanished, and because we both had seen him and we both realised that he disappeared, we probably laughed our heads off, and we carried on. After about 100 yards, we felt something in the back of the car with us. It wasn't because I was mashed, because my friend Tracy, she wasn't, and she was too scared to look behind her. She could feel the hairs going up on the back of her neck, and obviously because I'd got a beer full of bully at the beer of time, I had the balls to turn around and I told it to bugger off, which it did. It just vanished, disappeared. The present's just gone. Eventually we got back to my house and we sat outside for a bit and we were talking about it. And then from the back of the car, we saw a black, shadowy figure move from behind the car, cross the road, and the only way I can describe it really was that it whisked off down the road and we never saw it again. Another experience that I've had was an occasion where I used to go to the pagan moots. It was a pub called Stonehouse, which is in Wheelie Castle, Birmingham. And we had heard rumours that it was haunted, and I don't know, we never really paid much attention to it. You know, we were pagans, it was supposed to be the norm to us. But one night I had to go to powder my nose, and while I was in there having a whittle, the hand dryer went off on its own, and there was no one else in the toilets but me. And yes, I will admit, that freaked me out. Another experience that I've had, one that I don't usually talk about, because I don't know if it was connected or not. Excuse me, I'm having a cigarette. That's better. When my other half, Stuart, used to work at a Best Western hotel called Studley Castle in Warwickshire, rumours were abound that it was haunted, and I have done my own research and I'm convinced it's haunted. We had to look after the castle one Christmas period because they shut it down, but they needed someone to stay over, so Stuart stayed over because he was the night porter, and he took me and the kids, and we stayed there. Well, apparently one of the ghosts is supposed to have committed suicide by throwing herself from the round tower, and I was stood on the round tower, and all of a sudden I felt very overcome, very strange, very dizzy. I felt like I couldn't move, and I just had to get out of there. And it was an experience that I have to admit I didn't really like, and one that I never want to experience again. My nan comes and sees me now and then as well. She likes to stroke the top of my head, just like she used to when she was alive, when I was a little girl. And I've been told by a spiritualist that it is definitely her. She described her to a T. See, before my nan died, she had both her legs amputated. And the spiritualist told me that this woman that she could see had no legs. Well, if that's not my nan, then who the bloody hell is it? I don't know. But anyway, those are my ghostly experiences. That is how I became a ghostbuster, as you like to call it, I suppose. I don't know. I just love ghosts, and long may they rule. And my thanks to Amber to asking me to do this, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you all have a great Halloween. And I'm going to go now. So you take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.